as the fixes or exemptions or payoffs, depending upon your point of view, for AB5 work their way through the California legislature, I'm reminded that a week, 10 days ago, the Black Chamber of Commerce pointed out that what AB5 has actually done is cost 1 million people their way of living. And I say their way of living instead of just their livelihood for a reason, because it's more than about money. And that's what the people under the dome don't seem to understand. That people who are independent contractors or gig workers do so for their own reasons. It's not all about money. It's about freedom. It's about the right to choose how and when and who you work for on a daily basis. What AB5 fundamentally does is enshrine a narrow view of employment. It chains workers to an employer. It doesn't free them. And as we come out of this pandemic economy, flexibility and freedom are going to be paramount. And the California legislature has decided that they will regulate all these various industries that they now have to fix. Right? This bill was written so poorly that they now have to have fixes after fixes, exemptions after exemptions. It wasn't needed. The California Supreme Court interpreted a law. You didn't have to create all new laws. You could have adjusted the law to allow people to continue working the way they choose. You could have gone through and used the tools already at hand to deal with any abuses. But that's not what they did. They either paid off or threatened people who gave them money. I actually don't know. A lot of people, we all assumed that the unions paid off politicians. I'm not so sure anymore. I'm not so sure that politicians aren't holding unions hostage. You pay, you play. We've all known how that's politics works. That's the fundamental problem. The average person doesn't get a voice. Those with connections do. A commitment to transparency is what solves this problem. If the average person can easily see what's going on, politicians will be less likely to do underhanded things. The political class has no interest in being transparent. Campaign finance laws aren't written to keep big money out of politics or to keep influence out. They're written to concentrate it, to focus it. They're not written to help the average person run for office and compete. No, they're not. Campaign finance laws are written to keep the average person from participating. I looked for somebody else to run for office. I couldn't find anyone. Campaign finance laws were the number one reason people gave me for not wanting to run. Not even the toxic nature of politics. It was campaign finance laws make it not worth it. You need to be a freaking lawyer to run for office. It shouldn't be. The assembly is the people's branch. That is the average person's entry point into government. And our assembly have not just failed. At times, there are certain assembly women who are downright dismissive of average California citizens. And for whatever reason, the rest of the legislature accepts it as okay. I mean, if politicians in the political class want to yell and argue and scream at each other, that's fine. We're all big boys. We can take care of it. But to dehumanize an average citizen who's complaining because you have destroyed their lifestyle, that's wrong on so many levels. So how do we, the average citizens, change this? We change it by voting for people who believe in transparency, who believe in ethics. It's not even about politics anymore. It's not even about your political views anymore. It's, are you willing to listen? Are you willing to hear? Are you willing to try? Left, right, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green. None of those are mean anything anymore. Those are just labels. We have never, as a society, lived up to our promise. The truth is, we set a pretty high standard, and we will likely always fail. The difference is that we keep trying every day to become better. We try tomorrow to be better than we were today, and we try the day after that to be better than we are tomorrow. Some days we will fail. Some days we will fail miserably. I mean, we just have to look around and then we see our failures. But what we don't see is our success. Our lights are on. Our families love each other. Our neighbors actually get along with each other, despite our disagreements. You know, for the most part, things work. So there is a lot to be proud of. So we look at history, we learn what not to do, and we try to be better tomorrow. But it starts by making different choices today. By choosing to hold our elected officials to a higher standard, to hold our own team to a higher standard than we hold the other team to. That's kind of what we all think happened in the past. It's not really true, but we all think it happened in the past. That we all used to hold ourselves and our own team to a higher standard than we held other people, because that's how you made improvements. When we realized that wasn't true, we all became lazy. But we forgot that the journey is what's important. We weed out corruption with transparency. But transparency without ethics only gets you to see the problem. And ethics isn't about policy. It's about listening and trying. Because it is actually literally impossible to do the job of a legislator or a mayor or a city councilman or an assemblyman or a senator or a governor or president. It's literally impossible, right? Because your job is to listen to everybody and kind of make all those considerations. Consider everybody's wants, needs, desires when you make a decision. And there's times where some people simply cannot get what they need because you have other issues at stake. But you can be honest about it. You can say, we're making this decision, we're accepting this set of problems, and we're going to work to mitigate them. Because that's the best you can do. Because sometimes the best you can do is literally the best you can do. But we're not doing the best we can do. We're not even trying to do the best we can do. We're doing what's best for our team, or what's best for my political future, or what's best for my pocketbook, or what's best for my donors. Life is complicated. Government doesn't need to make it more complicated. They should make it simpler. As simple as they possibly can. Okay, before I just go on and start rambling like I'm on a podcast or something, if you'd like to learn more about our journey towards solving the toxic political nature, please go to just4assembly.com, click on the donate or join buttons, and we would love to have you, or whatever assistance you can offer. We spend most of our money on social media posts. We would like to buy yard signs and that kind of thing, but we need some help. $3, $5, $10, whatever you can manage. Thank you for your time. Good night. Love everyone.